Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana. I'm a business coach and mentor for women wanting to start their own stationery businesses. And I'm really happy you clicked on this video because I've been wanting to film this for a while. I've gotten questions over the years of being on here pertaining to this specific topic of how do I get started when I have little to no money to get started. And so I thought it would be fun to just kind of talk a little bit about, okay, let's say you had $100 and or if I had $100, what I would use that $100 to do to start my stationery business. And so the biggest thing I will say, we are going to be talking a lot about drop shipping in this video. So if you have any interest in wanting to learn more about drop shipping, how it works, and if it's a good fit for you, then you're definitely going to want to watch this because we're going to be talking a lot about that. But before we even dive into that portion of it, we have to kind of figure out some just basic things first. So we're going to be talking all about how to start your stationery business with little to no money, preferably at least about $100. So let's go. And if you're new here, welcome. Definitely take a look around, enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up if you're enjoying it, and please subscribe. I'm on this journey to reach 20,000 subscribers. That is gonna be such a huge milestone for me on my channel, and I would love to have you join this family. If you are returning, welcome back, girl. I am so excited you are here. And yeah, this is gonna be such a good topic. And so the reason why I said $100 is because, just to keep it real with you, I feel like no matter what, you have to be willing to make an investment in anything that it is you want in life, whether that's an investment of your time, an investment of your money, whatever the case may be. And so to me, I feel like if it's important to you to want to start a business, as much as I want to say, oh yeah, you can start a business for as little as $0, that is possible. And with a lot of different specific businesses, even like online businesses and things, that is so true. But when it comes to a stationery business, there is going to be some investment. And this is because when you are thinking about the products, it's really hard to sell a product without making an investment, whether that's in the tools you're using, the equipment, the company that's making it for you. It's really hard to do that without being able to really do quality control and check to make sure that you like the quality of your product. So there is going to be a small investment. So there, as much as I would love to say how to start your stationery business for free, I want you to be successful, and I want you to do things the right way and to be proud of what you're doing. And so that is why I chose that $100. And so, you know, I'm sure this is corny, and y'all probably gonna roll your eyes or whatever, but it's really, just think about if $100 kind of seems like something that may feel out of reach right now, just depending, we all got a lot going on. Finances can be a pain, okay? So I definitely get it. But just think about anything that you are spending a little extra money on, even if it's like, oh, we have pizza night all the time, or we eat out a lot, or if you get that Starbucks coffee or the Dunkin' Donuts coffee or whatever it is, maybe take a month or two and kind of cut some of those things out so that you can get up to this $100, because I promise you that this $100 could really catapult you to make so much more money, to feel so much more full in doing what you love. And that is what this channel is all about, honestly. So that's just a couple of tips, especially around just why I picked $100. And so I have my points over here that I'm going to be looking at, and I have 5 points that I wanted to cover with you today. So the first one is that you want to research everything so in depth without spending a dime. And so yes, I'm a business coach, and as much as I would say, oh my God, work with me or work with somebody in your field so that you can learn from them, I will say yes, it's nice because it does save you sometimes a lot of mistakes. It saves you time when you are working with someone that has been there and done that. But one thing that I love about today is that there is so much access to all the information we need to know right online, right on our phones, right on our laptops. And so I encourage you to research. My channel, this channel, I have a ton of free content on here that you can really learn about the process and just get a feel for like what you would need to get started and different things like that. But even more specifically, if you are wanting to, let's say, make your business official, if you're wanting to do your LLC or your corporation, or you know, whatever you may be doing, setting up your bank account, and you're not sure like what that whole process might be for your state, that's different things you can research without spending any money. So I would get a notebook. This is me, I'm always giving y'all an excuse to get a new notebook, but get a notebook and really jot down all of those points of just different steps you need to take in order to get to starting your business. So then that way you already kind of know, like, okay, these are the things I need to do. This is kind of laid out in a specific order for me, and this is going to be how I do this. This is how much everything costs, and then you can kind of prioritize what's really important right now. And so I know a lot of people always ask me, do you need to have your business established, as in like, do you need to have an LLC, or do you need to just have any entity established prior to getting started? I think it's going to be different for everybody. For me specifically, I did not actually do that until I was about a year into my business, when I finally was like, okay, I'm doing this thing, I'm going to go ahead and get my LLC. And at the time I was living in North Carolina. So I think that it takes it from you really just looking at it like it's a hobby, and this is starting to make it an actual business. However, it can be very pricey depending on where you live. Like now here in New Mexico, it's only like $50 to do an LLC, and you just pay that one time. Whereas I know other states, from just working with a lot of different clients, there's a recurring yearly or like an annual fee that you need to pay. There might be additional licenses and things that you need to run your business. So it's important to really compile all that information. Check out your Secretary of State website for your state, and then that way you can start to really get a feel for what those fees are going to be. And so a lot of times it is a little bit more than what we expect, and especially if you are even more so wanting to use like one of those companies like LegalZoom or something. I know some people use that. I've always done it myself. I've never gone through those companies, but if you do that, it can be a little bit more as well, because of course they're going to take a fee in addition so that they can make some money off of the fact that they're doing it for you. So really just price everything out. Don't make any sudden moves. Don't make any sudden purchases. I personally do not feel like you need to have that set up from day one. You know, you definitely can talk to more of like a legal professional or something like that, but just from my personal journey and my experience, I didn't have that set up, and here I am. So I think that if you are finding that it's a little bit more expensive than what you're ready to invest in, then definitely you can start really learning for this next step I'm going to give you, of kind of focusing on this step first. And so that is really to take that research a step further, you know, researching everything of how to get it done, and hopefully narrowing down to what you really want to sell. Because a lot of times when we get started, we have a lot of big ideas. You know, maybe you want to do a planner, you want to have stickers, you want to have apparel and tumblers, and you want to do a box, and you know, all of these different things. And so as much as it would be amazing to just offer it all in one swoop, it would be very overwhelming, and it would be very expensive. So the biggest thing I would suggest, and I've talked about this on many videos, I'll make sure I have one of them linked for you up in the cards, but it's just to really pick one, to focus on one, so then that way you can start to just see what are the steps for that one specific product, because everything has its own process, its own prices, and that can get to be a lot in the beginning. So really picking one thing, figuring out what it is that you want to kind of lead with and launch with that your customers really need. Within that research that you're doing, also just figuring out what is already out there, who's already selling what you're trying to do, and if you have it like very specifically niched down. So instead of just being like, oh, okay, I'm creating a lined notebook, maybe you take it a step further. You're like, okay, I'm creating a notebook that has content inside of it, more of a guided journal, and it's going to be catered to stay-at-home moms. It's a stay-at-home mom journal, or you know, something like that. So when you get very specific in that way, it's very easy for you to then go out there and see what people are already doing, how much are they charging, you know, what are they talking about on their social media platforms, and really just start to kind of get an overall big picture of what people are doing out there. Because there is nothing like wanting to start a business, you finally make your mind up to do it, and then getting out there and just having no idea what to do first. I mean, how many, if you're on this channel, I feel like that could be you, but I don't know. So that is a huge thing. And a couple of tips with that, because I know sometimes I've experienced this just with working with clients over the years, is don't let it get in your head when you are seeing other businesses out there that are already doing the same thing that you're doing or that you're planning to do. So if you see somebody out there that has a stay-at-home mom journal and you're like, oh, well, she's already doing it, that doesn't mean that you can't do it. I always say this, but if something is placed on your heart, it's there for a reason. And there may be some specific group of women that have no idea about this person you came across, first of all, or maybe they know about it, but it just wasn't the right fit for them. It wasn't the right price point, or it wasn't the right things inside of the journal that they needed, or they just don't resonate with the brand. So as much as we can say things are saturated and there's so many people doing stuff out there, there's always room for more. There's always a reason why you are thinking about doing it. And so don't ever take away from that, from yourself, of just wanting to make something happen. There's room for everybody. There really is. And so don't let that stop you, and also don't let it stop you when you see more established businesses doing the same thing you're doing as well. You are starting in the beginning. They were there too. So just keep some of those things in mind, because it can get a little bit comparison-y, you know, when you're doing that research, but it's so important to see what's already out there. This is just back to just marketing 101. You want to be able to see what your competitors are doing out there. You want to see what opportunities are available to you. You want to see what the weaknesses are within the market, as well as what are the threats. So if you've never heard of the SWOT analysis, that's basically what that is: the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I suggest you look it up. It's definitely something to kind of help you with your market research journey, and you really want to just dive all in. And all of these things I'm mentioning are free. This is all just research. Now, I do want to just say, do not research yourself to death, to the point where you just never do anything. You just research. At some point you have to take action, and so that's where we're going to get into the next step. And so, like I said, we're going to be talking a lot about drop shipping in this second half of the video, and that is because I believe that this is the #1 way to start a business, really any product-based business, with little to no overhead. If you are not doing drop shipping, let's look at it from that point first. And actually, point #3 is to set up your drop shipping and order samples. So when you look at not doing drop shipping, which we'll talk about what drop shipping is in a second, but let's talk about what it isn't. So that's basically meaning that I am purchasing all of my equipment. If I'm making t-shirts, for example, I'm gonna purchase a heat press. I'm gonna purchase an inventory of shirts, and I'll have different sizes and colors. I'm gonna purchase my vinyl that I'm gonna be using to put on there. Depending on if I'm cutting the vinyl myself, I'm gonna have a machine that I purchased to cut the vinyl. I'm gonna purchase all of my packing and shipping materials and labels, and all of that, and then I'm going to, of course, add everything to my store. People will purchase, and as the orders come in, I'll ship them out. Now, everything I just mentioned comes with a cost. All of the different tools and the equipment, the shirts, and just all of that stuff comes with their different costs. So you could easily get into something like that, and you could be paying anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to just get your startup costs going. That doesn't even include, you know, especially like if you're going to be investing in an e-commerce platform, which is a pretty small part of that, but it's still associated with the cost as well. All of those things can add up. And so that is one way to go, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that way. And shoot, that's the way that my business was and still is for the majority. So once you make the investment in that equipment, I really look at it more of like, okay, how can I get my ROI, my return on investment from these different things that I've purchased? If you purchase a Silhouette or a Cricut machine, okay, think of all the products you can make with that machine, all of the different things you can do so that you can get your return on the investment. The printers and the heat press, like I mentioned, all that stuff. Really think about that. And again, that's all still researching, just figuring out how much the equipment costs. Now, if you're like, no, I really don't want to invest in all that, and I don't really have a lot of money to get started with that, this is where drop shipping comes in. And so if you are unfamiliar or just not sure exactly how drop shipping works, drop shipping is set up where there are different companies out there, and they have a huge product catalog. Some of them are very niche down specific to where maybe they only sell paper products. Some of them have a variety of different things. A good example of this is Printify, because they have a little bit of everything on there. So this could include apparel, accessories, journals, mugs, different things like that, bags. And so they have this catalog of all of these just blanks, basically, as they can be called, and it's just like a plain item that can then be printed on. Typically it'll be printed on with like sublimation a lot of times, but there's a lot of other ways if it's embroidered, or it might be like a screen print or a DTG. Like there's a lot of different ways that things can be printed, but the point for you to realize is they have all these blank products for you and you can upload your design to them. So once you get with one of these drop shipping companies, you upload your design. They all have templates, and Printify specifically, they actually have what is called like digital mock-ups. So that mock-up is something you could then use as the photo on your website. So the mock-up is going to help you to visually see what the product looked like before you even have it in your hand, which is really, really, really great. So once you get on there, you can set up those product templates as they're called, and then that's going to allow for you to have your product inventory, or if you're starting with just one product, that specific product, you can price it whatever you want. So let's just use an example. Okay, so I'm on Printify right now, and when you're on here, you can sign up for an account, but just to view the products, you don't even have to have an account, just to see what they actually have. And now keep in mind, Printify is one of many companies, and there's always new ones popping up all of the time. I'm specifically talking about Printify because I have a lot of experience with using them, and so that's why I always want to make sure I'm sharing something that I know about, that I have experience with, and that I can vouch for at least some of the products that I have gotten from them that have been of great quality. So mainly you're on Printify. They do have something where you can do a premium membership with them. You do not need to do that. Basically, the premium membership, it comes with a monthly cost that you would have to pay, but what it does is it discounts the products that you order through them. And so I'm gonna just kind of walk you guys through exactly what is drop shipping. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to the catalog, and then from the catalog you can see all of the different stuff they have. So right here, the drop down is showing you all of the different product categories, and then you can even look at the new arrivals and just see all the categories. So specifically, we are gonna be focusing on journals for this particular example. So in the catalog, if you go over to home and living, you can see the journals and notebooks over there. And as you can see, they have a little variety of different things you can get from them, some different paper products. They even have a little bookmark over here. Now, the biggest thing I will say about drop shipping that you need to keep in mind is that they are going to be charging you sometimes a little bit more than what you might get quoted from like maybe a different company, or it may be more than what it would cost you to make it in-house yourself. But you have to keep in mind that first of all, they have the cost of the actual thing, like the blank, like I mentioned, but then they're also going to be doing it for you. So they're also doing the labor, and then they're also going to be shipping it out for you. So to really break down what my definition of drop shipping is, it's kind of like a very layman's term way. Drop shipping takes out a lot of the work for you. So of course you would still set everything up, you would upload your designs, but then when a customer checks out on your website, instead of you having to then fulfill or make that product, the drop shipping company would get the notification that, hey, so-and-so customer just placed this order, this is the product based off of what you have put into their system, and they're gonna fulfill that for the customer and they're gonna ship it out for you. Everything is taken care of. You get your shipping number, your tracking number through them, and if you have it set up to where it's very hands-off, you literally do nothing. So when the customer places the order, it just goes from there. I have mine a little bit more manual just because I like to just kind of monitor what's happening, and so when I see the orders come in, I like to just make sure, see what people are ordering, double check everything's okay, and then I'll push it through to get the drop shipping done. But you could completely bypass that manual step and just get right to it. So that's basically what drop shipping is. Drop shipping is just gonna become you in a sense of really processing your orders, making your products, and getting it out to customers. So why this is so great for people that really want to get started but don't have a lot of money to get started with is because you're not having to purchase all of that equipment. You don't even have to purchase shipping supplies if you don't want to, because they can ship it out for you as well. So you're cutting so many startup costs when you're doing this, and the products can be as little as we saw on there, like $5, you know, or even less, or of course more depending on what it is. Now, some of these journals on here, they're gonna really range depending on what you're specifically doing, but if we click on this first one here, it's this spiral notebook. It's gonna come with lined pages in there. So it looks like this one is not gonna be anything where you're changing the inside pages. If you are wanting to do something with the inside pages, I would probably suggest looking at Lulu, honestly, because they still have very basic binding options, but you have a lot more flexibility with what goes inside of it. They tell you exactly the specs. It's got 90 GSM paper. That is a great paper quality, metal spiral. It even has a little pocket for you, which is really nice. It shows you the measurements of how big the journal will be. And so yeah, so you have all of the details here, and it shows you that it's made within the United States, and you can start designing it. So when you start designing it, this is where you will get the information you need. And I just wanted to quickly point this out. I'm not going to focus on this too much. You can pick your design program of choice. I love using Adobe Illustrator. You could even use Canva for this, but they have the size recommendation over here for you. So this is the dimensions you would need it to be. This one is the 1810 by 2530 pixels. And that's the size of the document you will be making. It will be saved as a JPEG or a PNG file, uploaded back on here, and then you would be pretty much ready to create the design. So really the only other thing I didn't mention about this is that it's going to connect to your e-commerce platform. So if you are on Shopify, if you are on Etsy, or whatever you choose to be on, majority of the time some of these bigger dropshipping companies will integrate with those. I know for a fact Printify does integrate with both Etsy and Shopify. And so what it does is it talks to your store, and it's a very easy setup. It doesn't take a whole lot of like, you know, knowledge of like tech or anything. They have it very simplified for you to connect them, to talk to each other. It's just a matter of really just a couple of buttons. So don't feel intimidated by that, but it will save you so much money and time because you won't have to process your orders. Okay, so basically that brings me to the e-commerce platform. So if you are getting started, I love Shopify. I've been on Shopify for more than half of my business time of being in business, but I started on Etsy, and Etsy is great because you can get started on there for free, but just like everything, you have to spend money to make money. There's going to be fees. These businesses, they have to make money themselves as well, and so I highly suggest researching the different fees and everything that happen with whether it's Etsy or Shopify to really make your best decision on what you would like to use. Also keep in mind that there are free trials for Shopify too. I'm not sure what the one is currently right now as I'm filming this video, but I've seen it where they've had 90-day trials, they've had 14-day trials, 7-day trials. So that's also really nice too. So you'll have a little bit of a chance to get in there, even see what it's about, use it, get your products in there, get everything connected to your drop shipping website and all of that, and then you can get things up and running fairly quickly. So just, yeah, look into that. To me, that is going to be one of the 2 expenses that I would recommend. So with, again, we're trying to keep this under $100. The first thing is going to be to pick your e-commerce platform. If you use Etsy, it's going to be near free to get started. As you start listing items, Etsy will charge you a really small fee to list items. I think it was 20 cents. I'm not sure if it's been raised before, but it's a really small amount. Shopify is $29.95 a month. And again, you would have a free trial before then. But once you pick that, the second thing I would say you would definitely need to purchase is going to be your sample. So like I mentioned, the dropshipping company has those products. You can get your designs printed on them. You can also order the products for yourself. So there's another kind of like part of this whole thing. Like, let's say you don't want them to ship it out and you want to use your own packaging or whatever the case may be. You could order 10 or 20 or 1 or whatever the case is from them, ship it to yourself, and then you will have it to either ship out to customers, or what I really like to do is to sample it and make sure that I like it. So especially if I'm doing a brand new product, specifically when you're in the stationery industry, people have a really strong relationship with good quality, especially with paper. So it's important to at least have the money so that you can invest in your sample of the product to make sure that you like the quality of it, and just to see what it looks like. Because if they're going to be shipping it out to your customer for you, you would never have that experience of being able to see it. And so even though I know you don't have to do this part, I really would, because it's just to make sure that you are really putting the best possible product out there. Because you might order it and you might have been online all excited and thinking like, oh my gosh, this is great, I love it, Tatiana said this was great. You get it and you're like, oh no, this is not what I want. And so really having that money to invest in that sample is important. And so even the one we were looking at, I want to say the journal was let's see, how much is this journal? The journal is $7.69 and then the shipping is $6. So for under $20, shoot, under $15, you can pretty much order that sample, get it to yourself. Typically the turnaround time can be 1 to 2 weeks. It just depends. It's gonna be different with different vendors. Might even be a lot shorter than that. But then you'll have it, and then you can also use it. You can photograph it. You could use the digital mock-up that they give you through the drop shipper, if they have that on there. But I just think that that will give you that peace of mind of knowing like, okay, I love this product. I stand by this product and I'm ready to start shipping this out. And I would suggest doing this with any new product you're starting. So even if you try a new type of journal from them or something like that, I would order that journal sample as well to just make sure that you like it before you get it out to customers. So that is really it. I hope that this got you kind of thinking a little bit about how you can get your business started, because there is always something that stops us from getting started. There's so many different reasons why we think about it, we talk about it, but we never take any action. And I know a big one sometimes can just be the investment or not feeling like you have the money to get started. But I'm here to tell you, you don't really need a ton of money to get started. And so even though I said $100, I mean, honestly, this was just basically the journal sample. So that was like under $15. Probably with taxes, it might be about 15 something. And then with your e-commerce platform, if let's say if you went with Shopify, okay, that's basically $30 right there. We're well under $100. So I just want you to kind of show you that there are ways to do this stuff. And then eventually, if you want to make your own things by hand, or if you want to upgrade and do new fun different types of products that maybe the drop shipping company doesn't have, you're not limited to just doing drop shipping. But this is a way for you to get started now and not use that as an excuse for why you can't get started. You can always upgrade quality later. You can always do more, have more later. But I just never like to see people just continuing to sit on the ideas they have simply because they don't have the funds to get started, especially because there's so many resources out here. These drop shipping companies are out here to really set you up for success so that you can have that business you've been dreaming about. Even if it looks a little bit different, it's something to get you going, get you started, get your feet wet. And then as you make money, you can reinvest it back into your business to do the things you truly, truly want to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.